A humble black woman brings her son to an engagement party, and her entire world collapses when the little boy looks at the billionaire groom and calls him Daddy. But before we dive into this emotional story, filled with secrets and impossible reunions, tell me where you're watching from and what time it is for you right now. Like this video, subscribe to Hearts Rewritten, and let's begin. A light drizzle slid down the massive glass panels of the most luxurious hotel in the heart of San Francisco, tinting the city lights in gold and silver. Inside, the controlled sound of elegant laughter, string music and champagne glasses created the perfect atmosphere for the most talked-about event in the city, the engagement of James Langford, a billionaire magnate heir to a real estate empire, an icon of high society and a legend in boardrooms, to the sophisticated socialite Isabella Harrington. Luxury cars with private drivers lined up outside at the hotel's circular entrance, dropping off guests in flawless designer dresses and tailored suits. Every step on the red carpet seemed rehearsed, every smile calculated. Everyone there knew exactly what was expected of them, except one person, or rather, two. No one, absolutely no one, imagined that the true attraction of that night would not be the grand entrance of the hosts, but the silent arrival of a single mother and her 6-year-old boy with messy curls. An entrance that would reveal secrets, ignite family conflict, and change the future of the Langfords forever. In the most discreet corner of the sidewalk, protected only by a simple umbrella, stood Allie Collins, holding the hand of her son, Jake Collins, a boy with huge, curious eyes that sparkled under the damp glow of the rain. Allie took a deep breath before stepping into the illuminated lobby. Her heart pounded so loudly, it seemed to echo between the extravagant floral arrangements and golden plaques. The simple lavender dress she had adjusted herself the previous weekend felt far too small for that place where everything spoke of shine, luxury, and old wealth. "Mommy!" Jake tugged on her coat, looking around, amazed by the giant chandeliers. "Is this the party?" "It is, my love," she answered, trying to keep her voice steady. "But stay close to me, okay?" Jake nodded, his eyes taking everything in, especially the men in suits who looked like they had stepped out of movies. The contrast of his worn sneakers squeaking on the gleaming floor was obvious, but nothing dimmed his innocent energy. Allie felt cold stares slide across her shoulders. Still, she stood tall. She would not lower her head. She had received the invitation by mistake, or perhaps by destiny. Her old address was still listed in the records of the charity Isabella co-chaired, and suddenly there it was, that golden card announcing the lavish engagement of James Langford and Isabella Harrington. But now here she was, with a small hand intertwined with hers, stepping through the revolving door into the ballroom where the man she once loved was about to become another woman's husband. She had one single goal that night. For 5 years, Allie tried to bury any whisper of her past, rebuilding her life in another city, living modestly. But Jake's large hazel-green eyes, so similar to someone else's, were a daily reminder of the truth she suppressed. Her body trembled at the thought. It wasn't scandal, it wasn't money. Maybe it was madness to come. Or maybe it was the instinct of a mother seeking answers for a child who asked every day, "Do I have a daddy? What does he look like?" And Allie always dodged the truth, trying to protect him. But part of her knew she was also protecting herself. She wasn't sure James would even remember her. 5 years was a long time. Life had changed drastically for both of them, or so it seemed. She took a deep breath and entered the grand ballroom. In the center, a table full of French pastries and crystal glasses stood beneath a massive chandelier that resembled an inverted starry sky. Arches of white flowers decorated every corner. The scent of jasmine and champagne mingled with the sound of polite conversation. Isabella Harrington stood near the stage, radiant in a stunning rose-gold couture gown that hugged her body perfectly. She greeted guests with the practiced smile of someone raised in the most influential circles. And then she saw him, James Langford. The billionaire heir stood speaking with his father, Charles Langford, an imposing figure even at 72, with impeccable white hair and a posture that exuded authority and old money, the quiet confidence of a man used to winning. James wore a custom black suit, as flawless as his reputation for being disciplined, brilliant, unreachable. But his eyes were still the same, a deep blue-green full of restlessness, as if something inside him was always unresolved. They said James was unstoppable, acquiring prestigious properties in Beverly Hills, closing deals that made headlines, the most coveted bachelor in the city so until now. Ali felt her legs weaken. It was like being hit by a flash of the past. The last time she saw him, they were still dreamers in a much smaller world. At that time, James wasn't a billionaire heir, but a young entrepreneur fighting to build his path. They were two people in their 20s, dreaming of a life too big for their pockets, a life that lasted little and ended far too abruptly. Their romance had been brief but intense, a private universe of late-night confessions and stolen kisses. Then one morning, he was gone, disappeared without a goodbye, leaving behind only beautiful memories and a child who carried his eyes. Ali approached a group of guests, the soft click of her heels echoing on the floor. Jake stared fascinated at the spiral arrangements of rose petals. Determined not to disrupt the perfection of the night, Ali planned to stay only long enough to catch James's attention, maybe whisper a few words, something about wanting Jake to at least see his father's face, if nothing more. Then she would leave quietly. It was foolish, maybe reckless. But a child had the right to understand where he came from, but children rarely follow the script of their parents. In a flash as quick as lightning, Jake spotted James across the ballroom. Without warning, he slipped from Ali's hand, weaving between waiters in tuxedos and high society guests. He ran toward the tall, confident man who was in the middle of a conversation with Isabella's father. Ali's heart froze. She would never cross the room fast enough. She tried calling his name, but it was already too late. He was staring at James, at the man who had no idea he existed, at a face so frighteningly similar to his own. "Jake," Ali whispered, desperate. He stopped right in front of James, and there, in that central spot beneath the grandest chandelier in the ballroom, it happened. The boy extended his tiny hand and said the unthinkable, the word that fell like thunder in the center of that refined ballroom. "Daddy." The entire room froze, as if someone had stopped the music with a snap. Isabella's delicate smile died on her lips. James turned, confused, searching for the mother who might have coached the child. Conversations halted. The clinking of glasses ceased. The carefully orchestrated atmosphere of celebration collapsed into absolute silence. Jake's eyes sparkled with the pure innocence of a child far too young to understand the dilemmas of adults. "Daddy," he repeated, softer now. "Daisha, I think you're my dad." Time seemed suspended. James blinked, his mind fighting to connect the pieces. Several subtle signs lit up in his memory. The jawline, the gentle arch of the eyebrows, even the slight tilt of the chin. The child was undeniably a Langford. The resemblance was as striking as a reflection in glass. The face of Charles Langford, the patriarch of the family, tightened in shock and immediate disapproval. A rigid jaw, narrowed eyes, breath held, the kind of reaction that could freeze any room. Isabella, still holding a champagne glass, stepped forward, slowly shaking her head as if trying to reorganize an impossible reality. Elite guests craned their necks, fascinated and horrified at the same time. Murmurs spread like silent waves, each whisper sharper than the last. The only audible sound was the soft hum of the ballroom lights, an electric, almost vibrating silence. Then Ali rushed forward, breathless, gripping Jake's shoulders with trembling hands. She felt the crushing weight of every gaze in the room upon her, curious, judgmental, incredulous eyes. And she saw, right in front of her, James Langford's expression shift from pure bewilderment to something that looked like recognition, and maybe even pain. I'm so sorry," Ali murmured, her voice trembling, full of emotion. She tried to hold a steady smile, but her throat tightened, and tears threatened to rise. "Jake, sweetheart, you can't..." But the boy was already clinging to the hem of James's pants, looking up with innocence and absolute conviction, refusing to let go of a thought so simple to him. To him, this was the man he imagined when he looked at himself in the mirror, searching for similarities in his own face. The silence became too heavy, the kind of silence that precedes an explosion. James took a deep breath, a tense, almost painful sigh. And then a whirlwind of memories hit him hard. A cheap motel room, whispered late-night conversations, and the day he had to leave in a rush because of a business emergency, and never came back. Ali Collins. the woman he once loved with an intensity he never fully understood. She was there, standing before him, vulnerable, strong, and broken all at once. And the boy was his. The first cameras began to rise. Phones appeared in hands like predators smelling blood. It was too big a scandal to ignore. Edward Harrington, Isabella's father, frowned and moved toward his daughter, placing a protective hand on her shoulder. Charles Langford's shoulders stiffened in anger, making him look like a general about to enter battle. The Langford men did not tolerate public humiliation, and that child, that mother, were not part of any carefully crafted plan. Ali swallowed hard. The pressure in her chest was almost unbearable. She tried to speak, but it was clear the moment had already escaped her control. Isabella stepped forward, her voice dangerously calm. "Who is this child? And why exactly would he call my fiancé Daddy?" Ali opened her mouth to answer, but ironically, cruelly, inevitably, the one who spoke first was James. His voice came low, firm, almost like a steel wire on the verge of breaking. "Isabella, I need to talk to Ali. Alone." He did not take his eyes off Jake. Or rather, he did not take his eyes off the son he never knew existed. James stood there, staring at his own reflection in that small face. A wave of guilt, confusion, and fierce, almost overwhelming, protectiveness crossed his expression. Isabella looked at him as if her world were collapsing around her. Her father and the entire crowd of elegant guests watched in stunned silence. The restrained tension felt ready to make the ballroom tremble. But in Jake's bright eyes there was only hope, pure, simple, innocent. In that moment, Ali realized everything had changed. Her illusions, the ones she held for 6 years, that hiding the truth was better, that she shouldn't disturb James's golden world, that she needed to protect Jake from possible rejection. All of them crumbled beneath the chandeliers that glowed like constellations. Only the truth remained now, and the path ahead would be hard. There would be confrontations with James, with Isabella, with the Langfords, with the entire structure of power, money, and expectations surrounding that family. And worse, one enormous question hovered over everything. James Langford, newly engaged, a billionaire with a reputation built on perfection. Would he take on the role of the father that boy deserved? Or would he run again, leaving Ali and Jake to face a second wave of pain? For a moment, no one moved. On the soft carpet under the golden candlelight, tension vibrated like an exposed wire ready to burn. Ali felt her heart pounding, fear, shame, relief, and confusion all tangled together. Jake squeezed her hand, trembling. James's gaze remained locked on the two of them, as if all those years of silence, secrets, and distance had collapsed into a single moment. Isabella tensed her shoulders, her composure, flawless until minutes earlier, now threatening to crumble. The cameras that had once focused on her perfect bridal gown now hunted every expression, every tremor, every crack. Edward Harrington crossed his arms, visibly furious. He had been one of the architects of that strategic marriage, and now an unknown child threatened everything. On the other side, Charles cleared his throat, a deep sound muffled by anger. "James, can you explain what is going on?" he asked, his gaze sliding over Ali and Jake as if they were an unworthy inconvenience. "You assured me there were no unresolved matters from your past." James inhaled sharply, as if he had taken a blow, but he recovered. "There is no explanation that should be given in front of 150 people," he said curtly. He turned to Isabella, who held onto the table beside her to keep from losing balance. "Isabella, I promise that I will..." "Will what?" she cut in, her voice sharp. "Explain, apologize. Do you have any idea how this makes me look? This is humiliating." Ali, trying to stay steady, pulled Jake behind her. "I didn't come here to ruin anything," she said quietly but firmly. I tried," but no one was willing to let her finish. The guests opened space like a runway of dark silhouettes, whispering behind glasses and phones. The press, always alert to Langford drama, was already positioning themselves to capture everything. "Let's move this to a private room," the event organizer suggested, distressed, "and perhaps invite Miss, Collins." Her name spoken aloud made Ali shiver. They already knew who she was. James took a step, and Ali held her breath. But to her surprise, his voice came soft, almost protective. "Let's talk somewhere else," he repeated. "Please." He guided Ali and Jake out of the ballroom while 2 security guards opened a path through the flashes and whispers. Isabella followed immediately, rigid, indignant, unable to let them be alone. The hallway was quieter, but no less tense. And then Jake spoke again, softly. "Daddy?" James flinched. Ali felt her heart shatter into pieces. Isabella exploded. "What is going on? Did you know about this child?" "I never told him," Ali whispered. "He didn't know. I left the city 5 years ago. We lost contact." There was a slight dryness in James's laugh, more a sigh than any real trace of humor. "Lost contact," he repeated, staring at Ali. "You disappeared, Ali, vanished. No one could tell me where you had gone." Ali Collins's jaw tightened. That was not how she remembered it. "When I tried to call you," she whispered, her voice shaking, "an assistant told me you had moved abroad, that you weren't coming back." She exhaled, feeling the wave of frustration that had fueled so many lonely nights. I didn't have the resources, or the time, to chase after a man who simply vanished from my life. So you thought I chose to abandon you." James Langford's voice sounded wounded. "But you never tried to talk to me again. Not once, Ali." "I didn't." He stopped, uncertain. He knew he couldn't say everything. Not with Isabella Harrington there, arms crossed, every word cutting deeper. He couldn't deny that in the years that followed, his life had become a professional whirlwind. Trips, international contracts, mergers, crises, but none of that justified that final rupture. That silence that stretched for months. "That doesn't explain anything," Isabella cut in, her patience hanging by a thread. "The question is this boy your son, or is this all some kind of performance?" She shot Ali a cold look, taking in the simple lavender dress and worn shoes, as if she could see not only the clothes, but her bank account and supposed intentions. "I would like to know the truth," Isabella said, every syllable soaked in control. Jake shifted in Ali's grip, looking up at James with disarming sincerity. "He looks like me," he said quietly, almost in awe. That made James do something unexpected. He crouched down to the boy's eye level. He studied the light brown curls, the soft dimple in his cheek, even the shape of his nose, and the way he pressed his lips together when he was thinking. It was like looking at a distant echo of his own reflection. A shiver ran through his body, a strange awakening. "What's your name, champ?" James asked, his voice low, almost hoarse. "Jake Collins, sir," the boy answered with the absolute honesty only children have. Then he stretched out his little finger and lightly touched the lapel of James's suit. "Are you my real dad?" Ali swallowed hard, her eyes full of emotion. She saw Isabella on the verge of exploding, saw the fury rising in the betrayed fiancé's face. But in that moment, only James's expression mattered, so human, so stripped of masks. James took a few seconds to respond, breathing deeply. It looks like I might be, yes, Jake," he said with a gentleness that broke Ali's heart. "But we need to do a test and talk. Grown-up stuff, okay?" He swallowed. "I didn't know you existed. If I had, I would have gone after you a long time ago." His words rang with sincerity, that pure truth Ali recognized from the past, from the time when they were just 2 young people in a cramped apartment, dreaming of impossible futures. A flood of emotions washed over her, anger for all the pain, a relief that he seemed to care, and fear of letting her guard down again. Isabella let out a dry, bitter laugh. "What a beautiful scene. Am I supposed to believe you had no idea you had a child, or that you were too naive to notice Ali was pregnant?" Her voice wavered, but her gaze stayed hard as stone. "James, how did you not notice?" "Isabella," James said, standing up again. "I didn't know. You have every right to be upset, but—" "Upset," she repeated, her voice almost cracking. "We're about to get married. You promised me there were no complications, no hidden child, no ex. And now, this kid shows up calling you daddy in the middle of our engagement party. Am I supposed to stand here, head held high, pretending to be civilized?" In the background, Charles Langford and Edward Harrington were approaching, every step heavy, loaded with judgment. Ali felt a chill run down her spine. She knew those 2 men were not there to welcome anyone. They represented the old world, guardians of wealth and power, men who decided destinies over private dinners. "You little woman," Charles said with chilling calm, ignoring even his own son as he stared at Ali. "Whatever your motive is, Miss Collins, I recommend you proceed very carefully. I will protect my son and my family from any attempt at exploitation." Ali hardened, but she didn't back down. "Jake is James's flesh and blood," she said firmly. "We didn't come here for money. He's just a little boy who wanted to see his father's face." Charles's jaw clenched, but he said nothing. James's face showed inner conflict, raised under his father's iron rules, always fulfilling every expectation. But now, looking at Ali and Jake, something much deeper pulled at him, something paternal. "Let's stop arguing in the hallway," Edward Harrington sighed, running a hand down his tie. "At least let's do this somewhere private. The guests can stay in the ballroom. We don't need to turn this into an even bigger scandal." "Or," Isabella shot back, "we can just let the tabloids have their fun, because that's exactly what's going to happen." James turned to Ali, his face split in half by pain and responsibility. "Ali, can we finish this conversation calmly?" he asked, his eyes dropping to Jake. "I want to talk to you properly, but maybe Jake could wait somewhere a little quieter. We can get a little book, some drawings, something." Ali hesitated. She didn't trust Isabella or Charles or Edward, but Jake's presence was pulling him into an emotional storm he didn't deserve. It was time for the adults to face it alone. The boy's brow furrowed as he sensed the shift in the air. Ali took a deep breath and nodded. "Okay," she said firmly, "but I'm staying close to him." She crouched down to Jake's height and spoke gently. "How about we find a cozy little corner for you to draw for a bit, sweetheart?" Jake hesitated, lifting his eyes first to her, then to James. Then he nodded. "Okay, Mommy." The agreement, as tense and fragile as glass, was the only immediate solution. They would move to a more private space. Meanwhile, on the other side of the ballroom's heavy curtains, rumors and speculation were spreading among San Francisco's elite like a storm on the horizon. Ali could almost hear the whispers, "The Langford heir has a child out of wedlock. Isabella Harrington's perfect engagement is at risk. Who is this Ali Collins, and how did she manage to disappear for 5 years without James knowing?" No matter how the conversation behind closed doors ended, Ali felt their world had split in two. For Jake's sake, she needed to prepare for the battle to come. If James truly wanted to be part of his son's life, they would have to find a way to stand together. But the obstacles, Isabella, Charles, society's gossip, and the wounds of the past, rose like wolves lurking in the dark. With hearts racing and 1,000 questions spinning in their minds, they moved as a restless group toward the private lounge. Nothing about it felt like resolution. It felt instead like the beginning of a test that would force each of them to reveal who they truly were once the facade of wealth and good manners was torn away. The private lounge had been designed for VIP meetings, a set of rooms with soft armchairs, small golden side tables, and crystal lamps casting a gentle glow. Tonight it became the stage for a confrontation capable of changing countless lives. As soon as Ali, Jake, and James stepped inside, followed closely by Isabella, Charles, and Edward, a tense silence took over the room. Even the security guard standing discreetly by the door seemed to sense the pressure had reached its limit. Jake squeezed Ali's hand, his eyes wide. The grandeur of it all was both dazzling and frightening. Ali's heart clenched at seeing him so vulnerable. She drew in a deep breath, reminding herself why she was there. Facing these powerful people, reopening old wounds. It was all for him, for the son she had raised alone. Even if James didn't accept anything, Jake at least deserved the chance to know his own father. Isabella stood in the center of the lounge, one arm crossed over her chest and the other pressed against her temple as if trying to contain a headache. In the corner, Edward Harrington's phone buzzed non-stop, and he silenced it with quick movements, probably messages about the disaster already spreading outside. Charles Langford seemed to have aged 10 years in the last hour, unmoving, hands clasped behind his back, his gaze hard as stone. James guided Ali to a more secluded area, away from Isabella's direct line of sight, and pointed to a low table for Jake to sit at. A server waited quietly near the door. "Bring him a juice," James said softly, attempting an uncertain smile for the boy. "Maybe some milk and cookies if you have them." He looked at Ali, who nodded subtly, though her lips stayed tight. Jake settled into the armchair, his eyes roaming over the luxurious decor. Even as the center of the chaos, he was still just a 6-year-old child, fascinated by everything around him. The thick carpet muffled their footsteps, and the silence made every voice echo with disturbing clarity. Isabella's heels struck the floor sharply as she stepped forward. "We're not here to serve snacks," she snapped. But when she looked at Jake, she took a breath and softened her tone so as not to scare him. "We need clarity. Now." James hesitated, then called the attendant back. "Could you take Miss Collins's son to a quieter corner, back behind that divider?" he asked. He glanced at Ali, silently asking for permission. "We'll keep him close. He doesn't need to hear every detail." Ali's stomach twisted, but she nodded. She knelt beside Jake. "Sweetheart, we're going to be right here. If you get nervous, just come straight to me, okay?" Jake nodded slowly, his gaze still flickering between his mother and James, without realizing that from that night on, nothing in their lives would ever be the same again. Jake hesitated before letting go of Ali's hand, allowing the attendant to guide him to a more secluded corner, behind an elegant screen decorated with golden details. Ali could still see him if she leaned a little, but at least he was far enough not to absorb everything happening. As soon as the boy was protected from the adult storm, the voices erupted at once. Charles Langford was the first to attack, taking a step forward with that hard glare of someone not used to being challenged. "I want to understand," he began, his voice low but full of accusation. "How did you get pregnant by my son and simply never think it necessary to inform him? Was this a planned trap or a poorly told story?" A chill ran down Ali Collins's arms. "I tried to talk to James," she said firmly, though the accumulated hurt burned inside her. "He was unreachable. After a while, I had to accept that it was over, that he knew and chose not to come back. I assumed," she looked directly at James, "that you had moved on with your life." James ran a hand through his hair, frustrated and tense. "I didn't move on, Ali. My work dragged me abroad for months, and I never received any message from you. If I had, That doesn't make any sense," Isabella Harrington cut in, her voice nearly cracking. She turned to Ali with a sharp, glass-like stare. "You want us to believe you couldn't reach him, that you never thought of contacting his office, an assistant leaving a message. The press publishes about James's life constantly." Isabella left the rest hanging, a silent accusation that Ali had omitted something or orchestrated everything on purpose. Ali's jaw clenched. She knew that tone. The tone of wealthy people who believe everything is easy as long as you try harder. Before the room could explode, Edward Harrington stepped forward, trying to maintain order. "That's enough. The main question now is, what do you intend to do, Miss Collins?" Ali forced air into her lungs, keeping her voice steady. "What I want is for Jake to know who his father is. That's all. I didn't come for money or to ruin anyone's engagement." She looked at James, her eyes shining with involuntary emotion. "I just couldn't keep looking at my son and pretending I didn't know how to find you. He's been asking about his father for years." "That's all?" Charles raised a brow. "You walk into the most talked-about engagement party in the city, just for that?" "I received the invitation by mistake," Ali explained. "I recognized Isabella's name from the letters sent by the institution she leads. But I had no idea you two were together. When I realized," her voice trembled, "yes, I thought maybe it was a sign that it was time to end the secret." Isabella let out a dry laugh. "A sign? How convenient for you." Across the room, James leaned against the wall, his face tight. He looked like he was struggling to breathe. "Let's not turn this into a war," he said, forcing calm. "What matters now is Jake. If he really is my son." The sentence hung in the air, too heavy to finish quickly. "We need to confirm it with a test, then decide what to do next. This is no longer about you or me, Ali, it's about him." Charles cleared his throat in approval. "The right thing is to do the test, discreetly, quickly. If he is a Langford, we will deal with it." Isabella pressed her lips together, tense. "And if the test confirms it?" she asked, her voice trembling despite her upright posture. "What happens to our wedding, James? To our image? To everything we've built? Do you expect me to smile for the cameras and pretend everything is fine?" She gestured toward Ali, resentment unmistakable. "Because this is a bomb. James stepped toward his fiancée, softening his tone. I know, I'm sorry. I never imagined any of this. But Isabella, none of this is Jake's fault. I'm not going to punish a child for mistakes we adults made in the past. Isabella's eyes filled, shining. With rage, humiliation, or sadness, even she didn't know. So we're just going to pretend we're some modern, perfect family. Accept a child born outside of marriage into our public image. Is that it? She whispered, wounded. The phrase outside of marriage sliced into Ali from within. But she said nothing. This wasn't about her. It was about Jake. Edward sighed and pulled Isabella gently by the shoulders. We need to discuss this privately. Now. Charles approached, forming a rigid triangle with them, the old guard always deciding everyone's fate. James turned to Ali, his voice low. I swear, I truly didn't know. If I had... He couldn't finish. He was trapped in the weight of what if. Ali took a slow breath. I believe you. She looked into his face. Older now, stronger, but still with echoes of the young dreamer she once loved. I wish it had been different. I only came to give Jake the chance to see you. If you want to be part of his life, we'll figure it out. But if you'd rather I leave, no. His voice came firm and immediate. Don't disappear again. Please. He inhaled, trembling. I want to do the right thing. I want to get to know him, spend time with him, and the rest we'll work through it. What came next was a sleeping giant, and Ali felt each step land on top of him. Isabella's outrage, Charles Langford's stone-cold stare, the media smelling blood, lawyers sharpening their words behind closed doors. One misstep, one sentence spoken at the wrong moment, and everything could become a legal nightmare. But in that instant, James Langford stood in front of her with an expression she knew well, firm, resolute, almost stubborn, and something inside Ali, small and fragile, finally relaxed. Across the lounge, Edward Harrington finished a quiet conversation with Charles and his daughter. Then he cleared his throat lightly, like a man about to announce a verdict. We've reached a decision, he declared, adjusting his suit jacket with austerity. If Miss Collins agrees, we will conduct the DNA test immediately. We have the resources for it to be completed quickly, discreetly, and with precision. Once the results are issued, we will meet again. He spoke as if describing steps in a contract, not a child's life. Ali kept her chin lifted. Edward continued with the cold politeness typical of the elite. Until then, it would be better for you and the boy, he paused almost imperceptibly, to remain out of public view. She raised a brow. Out of public view, she repeated, her voice sharp. You mean hidden? The air grew heavier. Edward straightened. For your own safety, and James's. The press will turn any appearance of yours into a circus. We can arrange a suite in a discreet hotel, or one of the Langford properties, with private security and minimal exposure. It is the most prudent procedure. Charles nodded, rigid as steel. Our attorneys will oversee the test, Miss Collins. Everything will be thorough and confidential. Ali's stomach twisted. It was exactly how the Langfords operated. Turn everything into an administrative problem, a document, a strategic solution. But deep down, maybe they were right. The last thing Ali wanted was Jake surrounded by flashes, questions, or cruel headlines. She looked at James. He gave her a firm nod. I'm here. Isabella stood several steps away. Beautiful, impeccable, but with the hardened expression of someone publicly betrayed. A cracked diamond under bright light. All right, Ali finally said. But let me make one thing perfectly clear. She leaned forward, each word sharp as glass. I am not giving up my son. We'll go wherever you need us to go, but Jake stays with me. I won't leave him alone with anyone. James answered before anyone else. I never suggested that. Jake stays with you. Always. His voice held a conviction that surprised even Ali. Isabella let out a harsh exhale like she was swallowing stone. I'm going back to the ballroom, she announced. We have a catastrophe to manage, James. And it's your party too. She looked at him with a devastating mixture of anger and fear. I expect you at my side tonight. If you disappear, speculation will explode. His jaw tightened, but he didn't back down. Give me a few minutes with them, he said. Then I'll come back. Isabella spun on her heels, already answering a call, and left. Charles and Edward followed her, speaking quietly as they tried to salvage an event already in flames. The door closed behind them, leaving a strange silence in the air. Only James, Ali, and Jake, still sitting behind the screen holding a cup of juice with both hands, lost in the middle of that adult universe. Ali walked to her son and brushed her fingers through his curls. "We're going somewhere calmer tonight, sweetheart, but only for a little while, okay? Are we going back home?" Jake murmured, blinking slowly. His tired little face revealed a fear he didn't know how to explain. Ali exchanged a look with James, and the truth dropped like a stone in her stomach. She didn't have a home in San Francisco. The city belonged to the past. The cheap motel where they were staying wasn't safe. There were no friends, no family, not enough money for another solution. It was cruel, but the only safe place that night was with the man she believed had disappeared when she needed him most. James knelt beside the boy, softening his tone. "Jake, I have a place where you can stay. Your own bed has plenty of space, and tomorrow we'll talk calmly. Does that sound okay?" Jake looked at his mother. Ali took a deep breath, fighting the instinct to run, and nodded. "Just for tonight," she said softly. "After that, we'll figure out the rest." James stepped out to give instructions to a staff member, then returned looking as if he carried an entire building on his shoulders. "I need to go back to the ballroom for a few minutes," he explained. "To control the situation. Security will escort you to a private elevator. A car will take you to my apartment. If it's all right with you, you'll have an entire floor to yourselves and a staff available." The genuine concern in his expression made Ali look away. "All right," she murmured. Jake yawned, defeated by exhaustion. Ali helped him stand, straightening his wrinkled shirt. James lingered a moment longer, as if searching for a sentence that didn't exist. "Thank you for coming," he finally said, "and I'm sorry about the chaos." She only nodded. She felt divided between gratitude and fear, because entering the Langford world meant stepping into a labyrinth where power, loyalty, and secrets walked hand in hand. But then she looked at Jake, small, sleepy, afraid, and so much like the man standing before her. Yes, she had done the right thing. When they left through a side exit of the hotel, the night had taken over the city. A driver waited by a black SUV shining under the streetlights. 2 security guards escorted them with silent efficiency. Ali thought she saw sympathy in one guard's eyes. Perhaps he knew what it was like to see a life turn upside down in a matter of hours. Jake rested his face against the car window as they drove away from the hotel. "Are we really going to Daddy's house?" he whispered in disbelief. Ali held him close. "Yes, sweetheart, just for tonight. We need a safe place." The city passed like a river of lights outside, headlights, skyscrapers, endless avenues. 15 minutes later, the SUV pulled into the underground garage of a luxurious residential tower. Guards checked credentials. Ali saw the Langford Holdings emblem gleaming on a metal plaque. It felt surreal that after so many years of silence, a part of that empire was opening to her. And to Jake. The private elevator carried them to the upper floors. The feeling of luxury was unmistakable. Soft lighting, immaculate glass walls reflecting the city. A silence that felt expensive and powerful. A smiling woman with silver hair and an elegant uniform awaited them. "Good evening, Miss Collins," she said gently. "I'm Helena. Mr. Langford asked me to take care of you. Anything you need, I'm here." Ali just took a deep breath. The view from the living room looked like an upside-down sea of stars. And it was there she realized nothing would ever be the same after that night. Nothing. "Wow," Jake whispered, walking slowly across the thick carpet as if his feet were sinking into soft clouds. Ali held back a smile. For a boy used to cramped rooms and temporary homes, this place felt like something out of a movie. Beside them, Helena, the attendant in the elegant uniform, gestured warmly toward the main hallway. "The bedrooms are this way, Miss Collins," she said, her voice calm, almost maternal. "I prepared a space for Jake, and the suite next to it is yours. I also set up a little support room with books and drawings in case he wants to relax before bedtime." She paused gently. "Oh, and I set aside some snacks, fresh fruit, sandwiches, and some cookies, in case your son likes them." Jake's eyes lit up like Christmas lights. "Cookies?" he repeated, full of hope, clutching Ali's jacket. Her throat tightened. It was impossible to ignore the weight of that moment. Her son so enchanted by something so simple, because he had never had this kind of comfort. "Thank you, Helena," Ali said sincerely. "Really, thank you." Helena smiled. "Mr. Langford mentioned he may stop by later to check on you. If he can't, he'll come in the morning. I'll be nearby if you need anything." When they were finally alone, Ali took Jake's hand, and together they began exploring the enormous penthouse. Years spent living improvised lives, cheap motels, quick subleases, long shifts to pay bills, made the luxury feel even more surreal. The walls displayed carefully lit modern art. The furniture was immaculate, so luxurious it felt wrong to even touch it. And beyond the giant windows, the city shimmered, alive and radiant like an ocean of light. Jake forgot any shyness and tugged Ali toward the first bedroom. "Can I see where I'm going to sleep, Mommy?" His excitement was a balm that melted the chaos of the night. In the end, he was just a child, too innocent to understand the silent war happening between adults. The bedroom was beautiful. A huge, comfortable bed, fluffy pillows, a reading nook by the window, and even a built-in television. Ali knelt beside him. "We're only staying here for a little while, okay?" she whispered. "Not forever." Jake nodded, distracted, still mesmerized by everything. "This is so cool. Mommy-Daddy is really rich, right?" Ali looked away. "He worked very hard to have all of this," she answered, running her fingers through his hair. But in her heart, she silently added, "And he lost so many important things along the way, including you." On the nightstand, Ali noticed a basket full of brand new items, a dinosaur-themed children's toothbrush, gentle soap, mild shampoo, a neatly folded pair of pajamas. Someone had rushed to prepare everything, especially for Jake. Langford efficiency was almost frightening. Jake jumped onto the bed excitedly. "Mommy, look, a dinosaur toothbrush." Ali let out a small laugh. "Perfect for you. How about you put on your pajamas and have a cookie before bed?" She desperately needed a moment of normalcy, no matter how small. For nearly half an hour they settled in. Jake drank milk with 2 cookies, brushed his teeth like it was a brand new adventure, and when he finally lay down, he yawned with sleepy, heavy eyes. Ali read a short story on her phone until his breathing fell into a gentle rhythm. Leaving quietly, she kept the door slightly open, the hall's soft light spilling through. In the living room, she faced the city skyline again. It was so beautiful and so unreachable. It felt like an expensive dream that didn't belong to her. She hugged herself, exhausted, yet unable to relax. She had arrived at that engagement party with almost nothing, and now she was inside the apartment of the man who would change her destiny. A faint beep echoed from the foyer. Ali turned, her heartbeat quickening. The private elevator doors opened, and James Langford stepped out, exhausted, tense, his jacket slung loosely over his shoulder. He spotted Ali near the windows and stopped, as if afraid to intrude on her space. "I didn't mean to scare you," he said, his voice low and rough. "Is Jake okay?" "He fell asleep from exhaustion," Ali replied, hugging her arms tighter. James approached slowly, looking out at the illuminated city. The silence between them grew dense, heavy with unspoken things. Ali breathed deeply and asked, How did the party end?" James let out a humorless laugh. "Damage control. That's what Isabella called it. My father and Edward Harrington spent hours trying to contain the rumors. Isabella is furious. A lot of people left early. The ones who stayed just wanted gossip." He ran a hand over his face, exhausted. "I'm sorry for dragging you into this chaos. I wanted to protect you and Jake, but I wasn't fast enough." Ali's chest tightened. "We're okay," she murmured. "But nothing is going back to the way it was. Everything is out in the open now." James lifted his gaze to her. There was pain there, but also resolve. "Yes, everything is clear now." He motioned for her to sit. He sat across from her, fingers interlaced. "Tomorrow we'll do the DNA test, just to formalize what I already know. But my father wants documents, numbers, certainty." Ali nervously twisted her fingers. "That's fine. I want it done properly and officially." James inhaled deeply. "And after that, what's your plan?" She turned her face away. "I don't have one. I left this city years ago. I live in another state. I raised Jake alone. I used what was left of my savings to come here. We don't have anywhere to go back to." James frowned, incredulous. "Why didn't you ever seek help? Even if you thought I had abandoned you, you could have reached out to my father. Or someone in the family." "I tried to reach you," Ali snapped softly, her voice shaking. "But you never answered, and I wasn't going to beg a Langford to notice me." James closed his eyes for a moment, hurt. "You were never a stranger, Ali. And Jake, he's my son. If I had known, I would have been there." Tears burned in her eyes. "I don't want a secret deal. I don't want money." James leaned forward, his voice thick with emotion. "You think I want to pay you to disappear? No. I want to fix this. I missed everything. His first steps, his first words, years of my son's life." Before Ali could respond, his phone buzzed. He looked at the screen, and his face hardened. "It's Isabella," he answered, walking several steps away. Ali heard only fragments. "I'm home." "No, Isabella, that's not fair. Just listen." Ali stood facing the city lights, her heart racing. A whirlwind of emotions rose inside her. It was easy to imagine how that conversation was going. Isabella was his fiancée. The disaster of that night had humiliated her, damaged her status, and shattered all the wedding plans. When James returned, he looked even more drained. "She's hurt, and she wants me to fix everything. But I can't pretend Jake doesn't exist." His eyes shifted toward the hallway where his son slept. "I don't want to." Ali inhaled deeply. She even felt sorry for Isabella. No woman deserved to have her engagement fall apart like this. A soft ache pulled at her chest. But her protective instinct for Jake was stronger. Her son needed a father, and that wasn't something to be swept under the rug to save a wedding. "I'll figure it out," James said, as if trying to convince himself. "We'll stay here for now. Tomorrow we'll take the test, and when it comes back positive, we'll talk about Jake's future, where you'll live, school, stability." Ali watched him, seeing the weight of fatherhood finally settle on his shoulders. Slowly, she nodded. "Okay, we can talk," Ali murmured, her voice almost swallowed by the silence filling the room. For a few seconds, neither of them moved. The night seemed suspended in the air, as if it were breathing along with them. Then James stood and offered her his hand, helping her rise from the couch with a gentleness that made her chest tighten. "You must be exhausted," he said softly. "Let me show you your room. Helena prepared everything ahead of time." Ali followed him down the hallway lit by soft lamps. The first door on the left was slightly ajar. It was Jake's room. The boy was sleeping deeply, wrapped around a pillow so large it looked like it might swallow him. His breathing was steady, peaceful, and for some reason it touched something deep inside James. He remained behind Ali, silent and reverent. It was as if he was still trying to understand, truly understand, that this small life was his son. After a few moments, James walked on and opened the next door. "This one is yours," he said. The room was smaller than the master suite, but still looked like it belonged in a luxury catalogue. A perfectly made bed, pale green sheets, and a light lavender scent filling the space. "I hope you feel comfortable here," James added, stepping back. "I'll be at the end of the hallway. I don't intend to bother you. And I know we have a lot to solve tomorrow." He moved away slowly and left the door slightly open. Ali stood in the middle of the room, absorbing the silence. Her heart raced, trying to keep up with the whirlwind of the night, scared, tired, and yet strangely hopeful. For the first time in years, Jake had a real chance at something better. Morning arrived, drenched in golden sunlight, pouring through the penthouse's massive windows. Ali blinked a few times, disoriented, until she remembered where she was. In James Langford's apartment, with Jake sleeping in the room next door, and her own life on the verge of turning upside down. She stood slowly and fixed her hair in the mirror. Her reflection showed exhaustion, dark circles, tight lips, but something new was there too, a spark of hope she hadn't felt in a long time. She checked on Jake. The boy was still fast asleep, sprawled across the soft mattress, his little hand gripping the pillow. That sight alone calmed every storm inside her. Following faint voices, Ali walked to the living room. James was speaking with a man in a grey suit, impeccable posture, a leather briefcase in hand, far too professional for such an early hour. James, dressed casually, looked exhausted but alert. When he saw her, his shoulders relaxed slightly. "Good morning, Ali," he said, offering a soft, almost embarrassed smile. The lawyer inclined his head. "Good morning, Miss Collins. I'm Caleb Wells, part of Mr. Langford's legal team." He glanced at James, waiting for direction. "It's okay, Caleb," James replied. "I want Ali to be aware of everything. We're talking about the DNA test." Ali stepped closer, breathing deeply. "All right. I want everything done the proper way." Caleb opened the briefcase. "It's already scheduled. A private collection today at a highly reputable laboratory. Accelerated results, possibly within a few days. Mr. Langford will cover all costs. We only need your samples and Jake's." Ali nodded, feeling her chest tighten. It wasn't just a test. It felt as though her truth were being examined too. James touched her elbow gently. "We'll go together, Ali. I don't want you doing this alone." Before she could answer, Jake appeared in the hallway, eyes half open, hair completely tousled. He stopped when he saw the lawyer. "Hey, buddy," James said, smiling. "Did you sleep well?" Jake nodded and walked toward his mother. Caleb smiled warmly at him. "Nice to meet you, Jake. We'll see you soon at the lab, okay?" Jake blinked shyly but politely. Caleb stepped into the private elevator and disappeared. Moments later, Helena arrived with the punctuality of someone who always knew exactly what was needed. An immaculate tray with fruit juice, croissants, and freshly brewed tea. "Good morning," she greeted. "I prepared something light before your appointments." Jake's eyes lit up. "Can I have one of those, Mommy?" Ali laughed softly. "You can, sweetheart." While Jake enjoyed his croissant, Ali watched James, and without the suit he looked less inaccessible, almost more human. For a moment the silence between them was comfortable. Then Ali drew a breath. "Did you talk to Isabella after everything happened?" James's expression shifted. A trace of pain crossed his face. "Briefly. On the phone. She's with her father, and they want to create a strategy to contain the press. The engagement party became a disaster for them, and now they want to control the narrative." Ali nodded, her stomach twisting. There was far more at stake than just feelings. Business alliances, family reputations, maybe even entire fortunes. Would they make Jake pay the price? Would they try to separate them? James noticed her discomfort and moved closer. "Ali," he said quietly, "about Isabella. Nothing she says changes the fact that Jake is my son. I know you're afraid my family will try to push you away, but I'm not letting that happen." His sincerity made her chest tighten. She believed him, but she also knew the power the Langfords and Harringtons wielded. "Thank you," she murmured. They finished breakfast in peace. Jake talked excitedly about the view, pointing out buildings and bridges. James answered patiently, explaining parts of the city as if it were the most natural thing in the world. Then Helena returned. "The car will be ready in less than an hour," she announced kindly. "You should start getting prepared." Ali took Jake to change clothes. She found a striped polo shirt and new jeans, clothes that hadn't been there the night before. Helena had gone out early to buy them. The gesture, simple and thoughtful, tightened Ali's chest again, but this time with gratitude. When Ali, Jake, and James met in the foyer, he was already waiting for them in a flawless navy suit and a determined expression. Jake held tightly to his mother's hand as they rode the elevator down to the garage, where 2 cars and security guards were waiting. The contrast between James's world and Ali's simple routine had never felt so stark. The sedan crossed busy streets until they reached a discreet medical building on the Upper East Side. Inside, a nurse led them to a private room. Jake tensed at the smell of antiseptic, and Ali tried to soothe him. Meanwhile, James reviewed paperwork, ensuring complete confidentiality. The test was quick. A swab inside Jake's cheek, then Ali's, and finally James's. The technician promised to accelerate the results. 1 or 2 days, maybe even tomorrow. Ali felt some of the tension loosen. Soon, the truth would be before everyone. Outside, Jake became enchanted with the tall buildings. In the car, James surprised them by suggesting they spend the afternoon together. "I want to start being a father, if he's up for it," he said, glancing at Jake. The boy asked to see sea animals, and despite Ali's fear of paparazzi, she agreed. James had a solution for everything. They'd use a side entrance at the museum. It became an afternoon borrowed from another life. Jake squealed in delight at the sharks, and James lifted him so he could see better. He answered questions with patience, as if trying to reclaim lost years. Ali watched with her heart tightening, joy and fear coexisting in the same breath. A few onlookers tried to take photos, but security discreetly intervened. Even so, Ali felt the invisible weight of a life that did not belong to her. They had lunch in a private corner, Jake talking non-stop about every fish he had seen. In the quiet glances exchanged between Ali and James, there was an unspoken promise. He would not abandon his son again. But late in the afternoon, James's phone began to vibrate. His expression shifted. The fragile bubble of peace began to rupture. When they arrived at the penthouse, Helena greeted them nervously. "Miss Harrington is in the living room." James's body tensed. Ali felt her heart drop to her stomach. In the living room, Isabella stood facing the city through the tall windows, elegant, flawless but shattered inside. The moment she saw Ali, her gaze sharpened into a blade. "I saw the photos of you at the museum," she said bitterly. "My fiancé spending a family day while the media calls me the deceived bride." Ali tried to respond calmly, explaining that they were waiting for the test results, that nothing had been planned to hurt her. But Isabella stepped forward, wounded. "Am I supposed to accept this? Pretend everything is normal while you reorganize your life around another child?" James tried to stand firm. "Jake is my son. I'm not going to treat him like a press release problem." Isabella trembled. Her father wanted a crisis plan, a distant, controlled statement of support for the child, preserve the engagement, maintain appearances. James refused. "I'm not erasing my son," he said. Pain filled his eyes. "I never wanted to hurt you," he added. "But whether you like it or not, I'm a father. That's not something you can erase." Isabella swallowed hard and looked at Ali, searching for someone to blame. But for a brief moment, anger gave way to sadness. "I can't live like this. I need time. I'm not continuing wedding plans in the middle of this spectacle. My father may try to force you to compromise, but I won't be used as decoration in a story I didn't choose. I came here to see if you would agree to some kind of arrangement, but it's very clear you've already chosen your side." And in that moment, Ali understood that nothing would come out of this without leaving deep marks on all three of them. James's lips trembled before any sound came out. There was guilt in his eyes when he finally murmured, "I'm sorry. I know it's not enough, but it's the truth." Isabella kept her expression firm, despite the clear exhaustion. "I don't blame the boy," she said, weary. "But this is too big, James. It blew up our lives. It could destroy everything." She took a deep breath, as if holding on to the last thread of self-control. "When the results come out, we'll see if there's still any path for us. But if you choose to claim this child as a Langford, prepare for war. My father and yours will not accept it quietly." Without waiting for a response, she turned and walked out. The sound of her heels fading down the hallway felt like a final punctuation mark. James stood motionless until Ali softly asked, "Are you okay?" He gave an empty smile. "No, but she deserved to hear the truth. I'm sorry you had to listen to all of that." Ali stepped closer. "You didn't do anything wrong. The past won't change. We just deal with what's here now." James ran a hand through his hair, exhausted. "What's here is this: a father who might demand I salvage the engagement or give up my stake in the company, a fiancé who may walk away, and a son I want to protect above everything. I don't know how to keep these worlds from colliding." "Maybe you can't," Ali said quietly. "Something will have to give." He looked at her with a mixture of pain and hope. "For Jake's sake, I need to choose right." Ali thought of the years she had raised her son alone. For the first time, she wasn't fighting by herself. James nodded toward the hallway. "Let's check on him. We don't have answers, but we can show him he's not alone." Ali gave a sad but steady smile. "Let's go. Both of us." The next 2 days were a limbo of tension. Lawyers, secret phone calls, increasingly harsh messages from Charles Langford demanding damage control. Meanwhile, tabloids created theories about the mysterious Ali Collins and her son. Jake, oblivious to the chaos, played around the penthouse, helped Helena bake cookies, and ran to show his toys to James every night. At the table, the three of them looked like a family, even if everything was about to change. Then, on the afternoon of the third day, the call came. The test results were ready. James insisted that Ali and Jake go with him to Langford Holdings. Thomas Wells, the attorney, led them to a discreet room. A sealed envelope awaited them. The result is conclusive, Thomas announced. With more than 99.99% certainty, Jake Collins is your biological son. Ali exhaled as if she had been holding her breath for years. James, emotional, whispered, "I knew it." Thomas began explaining legal procedures, but James knelt in front of Jake. "The test only confirmed what I already felt. You're my son. Officially, I'm your dad." Jake looked at Ali. She smiled through tears. "It's true, sweetheart. Nothing and no one can change that now." The boy hugged him, and James held him as if receiving something too precious to ever let go. A knock on the door broke the moment. "Mr. Langford, your father has arrived." In the executive lounge, Charles Langford stood facing the city, 2 lawyers behind him. His gaze fell on Jake, then on James. "So it's official." "It is. And I'm going to fully acknowledge Jake," James replied. "That's not up for discussion." Charles's face hardened. "Do you understand the scandal? The inheritance, the Harringtons, your engagement?" "Pretending my son doesn't exist would cause more damage," James countered. Charles took a slow, irritated breath. "We've prepared a statement. You acknowledge the boy, request privacy, and call everything a misunderstanding. It's more acceptable." Ali swallowed her indignation. The attorney then suggested a formal custody arrangement: child support, visitation, school. James placed a hand on her back. "We'll handle everything together, but the statement will be on our terms. I'm not apologizing for my son's existence." The silence that followed made it clear. From now on, nothing would be simple. And Jake, clinging to Ali's leg, was the quiet center of a storm that had only just begun. Charles Langford looked at his grandson for a moment before saying, in a tone far too rigid for an introduction, "Hello, Jake. You seem well." It was a strange, almost cold greeting. Jake murmured a timid hi, gripping Ali's hand. The patriarch offered only a polite nod, and Ali hid her frustration. Her son deserved warmth, not protocol. Charles went straight to the point. "I expect your answer about the statement, and the Harringtons want a meeting tomorrow. They want a decision about the engagement, and how this child affects the union between our families." James took a deep breath. "They need to understand that I'm not going to back down from acknowledging Jake." Charles simply said, "Good luck then." As he left, he cast Ali a silent warning look. "Don't complicate this further." When the door closed, Jake whispered, "Can we go home now, Mummy?" "We can, yes." James confirmed the day was over. When she heard, "Let's go home," Ali's heart stumbled. She followed them back to the penthouse, feeling a dangerous mix of belonging and fear for what was coming. Inside the apartment, the sunset cast gold over the city. Jake ran off to play while Ali and James stayed in the living room, letting the weight of the day settle onto their shoulders. "It was a heavy day," she murmured. "It was," he admitted. "But my father realized I'm not backing down. That already changes something." Ali thought of the way Charles had looked at Jake. There was no acceptance, but no denial anymore either. James continued, "Thank you for standing by me today. I know facing my father isn't easy." She smiled softly. "We're in the same boat." Then he drew a breath. "We need to talk about housing. Now that the test confirmed everything, you can't stay in motels anymore. I want you and Jake to stay here, at least until we figure out a long-term plan." Ali hesitated. "Living here complicates everything. And if Isabella—" "I don't know if we have a future," James interrupted, pain in his voice. "But if we do, it will include Jake. If that's unacceptable to her, then maybe there is no future at all." Ali's chest tightened. He sounded sincere, steady. "All right," she murmured. "We'll stay until things settle." James let out an almost relieved breath. He promised to ensure legal, financial, and emotional stability. Jake then burst into the room carrying a drawing. 3 smiling dinosaurs, me, Mommy, and Daddy. James hugged him tenderly, and Ali felt hope insist on being born, even among ruins. The next morning, sunlight filled the penthouse with a deceptive calm. It was the day of the meeting with the Harringtons. James left early to speak with the crisis team, but returned to have breakfast with Ali and Jake. The air was heavy. As he approached Ali before leaving again, he took her hand. "The engagement depends on what I say today, but Jake comes first. Always." The following hours dragged on. Ali played with Jake, read stories, but her mind kept traveling to the Harrington mansion. When the elevator finally chimed, her heart raced. James walked in first, tense, followed by Isabella, flawless, but with a face marked by internal battles. "How did it go?" Ali asked. James let out a humorless laugh. "They brought conditions, a deal to keep the engagement." They sat, a triangle of conflicting pain. James explained, "They want me to keep Jake out of the spotlight," a statement calling everything a misunderstanding, the wedding next month, as if nothing happened. Ali felt indignation rise. "That's pretending Jake doesn't exist," Isabella countered, tense. "That's not it. But no talk of Langford heir. You can see him, privately, just not publicly." Ali met her gaze, firm. "So you want him to be a convenient secret?" "I'm trying to minimize the damage," Isabella said, her voice almost breaking. James cut in, his tone firm and final. "Jake is my son. He is not a PR problem. I won't hide him to preserve a perfect wedding." The silence that followed made it painfully clear. Any choice would come at a high cost, but for the first time James was not willing to pay with his son. The tears in Isabella's eyes were silent but deep. "This changes my life too," she murmured. "I never wanted to be a stepmother, much less to discover on the night of my engagement that there's a child, and to be exposed in front of half the city." Ali held back the instinct to defend herself. She understood the other woman's pain, but Jake came first. James, steady, replied, "I know you feel betrayed, but if you love me, you need to accept Jake without hiding. There are many things I can negotiate, but not this." Isabella's voice wavered. "How do you think I feel? One day I'm planning my future. The next I find out my fiancé already has a family with another woman." Ali spoke honestly. "I would probably feel the same, and I'm sorry. But Jake isn't to blame. None of this was planned." Silence stretched until Isabella lifted her chin. "So it's decided. You'll acknowledge Jake publicly. The engagement will never be the same, if it survives." "If that means cancelling the wedding, then that's what it means," James replied. The tears finally fell. "I can't marry someone who throws away all the plans we made. I don't want to be the villain, but I can't imagine a life where I'm always second place." "You're not the villain," James said. "But if you can't stand by me with Jake in our lives, you're free to go." After a moment, Isabella made her decision. "I'm cancelling the wedding. My father will handle the statements. I don't hate you, but this is too much for me." She looked at Ali. "I hope you build something good for that boy." And she left with dignity, leaving James devastated, but strangely relieved. "This would have happened sooner or later," he said, his voice hoarse. "Maybe it was always more of a business arrangement than a love story." Ali touched his arm. "It hurts to lose what felt certain, but you made the choice a father would make." The following days were a cyclone of headlines, official statements, and speculation. Billionaire's secret child changes everything. Love triangle shakes the Langford family. From the penthouse, Ali watched the media devour everything while Jake happily played with his dinosaurs. James increased security, and even exhausted was constant. Breakfast with his son, tense meetings during the day, and evenings softened by Jake's joyful "Daddy" running toward him. Ali watched, grateful, but aware of the price he was paying. The family attorney spent an afternoon with them, spreading documents across the table. Proposed shared custody, primary residence in San Francisco, guaranteed financial support, he explained. Ali took a deep breath. "I've never had anything defined by clauses, but Jake needs stability." James held her hand. "This protects you too. If my father tries anything, or if I become unavailable, Jake stays safe." She nodded. They also discussed schools. Ali didn't want a cold institution. James suggested something smaller, more creative. The glow in his eyes when speaking about Jake's future made everything seem possible. Sometime later, with contracts underway and the engagement officially ended, Ali received an unexpected message from Isabella. "We need to talk, just the two of us." They met in a discreet lounge. Isabella looked impeccable, but her tired eyes revealed difficult nights. "I owe you an apology," she said. "I was angry, humiliated, and I went too far." "I understand," Ali replied. "I never wanted to destroy your wedding. I just wanted Jake to know his father." Isabella sighed. "The press paints me as the villain, but I don't hate Jake. My pain is losing control of my own life, becoming a footnote in the story I thought I was building. Ali listened respectfully. Isabella continued, maybe it's better that all this happened before the $1 million wedding. If James chose you two, I won't sabotage it. You deserve a chance to build something real. She handed Ali a card. The city isn't kind to single mothers. If you need help with the press, discreet events, I know people. Ali was moved. Thank you. Just take good care of him, Isabella said. If James risked this much for Jake, he'll need someone who stands by his side, even if it's no longer me. Ali tucked the card away. I'll do my best, she promised. They said goodbye with a simple, good luck. Isabella walked out with her head held high, carrying a story that had ended, but not without leaving marks. When Ali returned to the penthouse, she felt a chapter finally close. The scandal, the broken engagement, the accusations. Now, something else was beginning. A future still uncertain, but where Jake was at the center, not as a problem, but as the reason. And as she saw her son leaning over the living room table, drawing a family of 3 with colored pencils, Ali felt something quiet grow inside her. Not certainty, but hope. A stubborn hope that after so much pain may be love. The real kind, the kind that chooses to stay and take responsibility, finally had a real chance there. And so we come to the end of today's story. If this story touched your heart, please leave your like and tell us in the comments which moment moved you the most. Don't forget to subscribe to the Hearts Rewritten channel and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the new stories we're preparing with so much love for you. And if you'd like, share this video with someone who loves second chance stories. Thank you for staying with us until the end. May God bless you. And if you enjoyed this one, don't miss the next. Just click the story appearing on your screen.